Royal Caribbean's Adventure of the Seas is a mainstay of the fleet, offering a blend of fun activities on a cruise ship that has been refreshed fairly recently. This is a Voyager class ship, which means she's a medium-sized vessel in Royal Caribbean's fleet. And while she's not as big as other ships, she still packs a lot for families to enjoy. Today, we've got a look at Adventure of the Seas with a full walkthrough tour up next. Adventure of the Seas was built in 1999 and started cruising in 2001. She's the third of Royal Caribbean's Voyager class ships. And while Adventure of the Seas may not have all the whiz-bang features that have been upgraded on, say, Mariner of the Seas or Navigator of the Seas, other ships within the class, and of course, bigger and newer ships ever since then, it's still a pretty compelling cruise ship with plenty to do on board and a great choice for families. Adventure of the Seas is as long as 3 soccer fields and has a maximum capacity of 3,807 guests. With so much to see and do, let's get started with the tour. We begin our ship tour with a look at the pool deck. The pool deck is a hub of activity, lots going on there, including, of course, some pools that you can use. And the pools are open throughout your cruise, throughout the day and into the evening. There are 3 pools and 6 whirlpools on Adventure of the Seas. The 3 pools are on deck 11. One pool sits in the solarium, near the solarium bar and pool bar, and then there's 2 whirlpools near there. We'll get to that in a minute. The other 2 pools make up the main pool, which are situated in the middle of the ship near the outdoor television screen, and they again act as the main pool areas. There's also right next to Splashaway Bay, which is the kids' aqua center. We'll see that in just a little bit. But instead of having one giant pool for the main pool, they have 2 separate pools, so that way it helps with crowds a little bit. And as well as if there's an activity happening in one pool, the other pool could be open for other things happening there. Speaking of activities, you're going to find a lot to do on Adventure of the Seas, including things like the belly flop competition, World's Sexiest Man, and other things happening. Really, the pool deck is where you go for a lot of the sea day things happening outside on the ship. Now, the whirlpools are fantastic because these are big and enough space for people to go in there and enjoy some time. There's also the Splashaway Bay, which is the kids' H2O zone. So Splashaway Bay is really, again, meant for kids. There's both a baby splash zone, which are for kids that are not potty trained, but the rest of Splashaway Bay is for kids who just want to go in there and splash and go down the mini slide and just enjoy getting wet and running around a lot. That's what this is really designed for, as opposed to the pools, which is really just for lounging and whatnot. And Splashaway Bay has been a big hit with kids and families alike because it offers them that space to run around and enjoy. Now, you're going to find plenty of chairs all around the pool deck. There's no cost to use the lounge pool deck chairs on Adventure of the Seas. It's just a matter of getting one. Certainly here on a sea day, as you can see, there's a lot of people looking to get a pool chair. My advice is either get up early or maybe look for a chair that's kind of out of the way a little bit. Don't necessarily assume you need to be right next to the pool to have a pool chair. There's lots of different chairs all around the deck. In fact, I love the chairs personally that are underneath the covered area on the sides because you get the shade there. You get a nice breeze. You can see what's happening. You still feel part of the action. Now, moving up to deck 12, there's actually some reserve seating if you're in a suite. The reserve deck is for anybody staying in a grand suite or above. You can just go in there and use those. There's also a towel station on Adventure, and this is where you can go to get towels anytime during your cruise. You don't need to actually bring towels with you on the ship at all. Don't bother packing them. It's a waste of space. Royal Caribbean provides towels for you to use. You can use as many as you'd like, come in, swap them out, however you see fit. There are also swim vests that you can borrow. Again, no cost for the swim vest, just grab one. So if your kids aren't quite strong swimmers, this is a really good idea. Nearby the pool is the Tide and Trail adventure gear. If you're looking to purchase snorkeling gear or something for your scuba diving trip or something else involving aquatics, this is a good spot for it. I actually recommend, before your cruise, to purchase it before you ever get on board. But if you realize, man, I would love to buy some better gear, this is a spot you can do so. Now, on the pool deck, it just wouldn't be the same without obviously the live music, which they have, and of course, the pool bar. The pool bar on the pool deck offers a lot of those drinks that you're looking forward to trying out. The pina coladas, strawberry daiquiris, rum and cokes, really anything that'll cool you down and make you feel like you're on vacation. For a lot of people, getting that first drink when they get on board the ship from the pool bar is a must-do. And you can simply go up there, order a drink, and stay and sit in one of the chairs or take it back to your seat and what have you. Speaking of things people absolutely love, the complimentary soft serve ice cream is another big one over here. So Arctic Zone is where you can go to get as much ice cream as you would like. Technically, I believe it's frozen yogurt, but I digress. Anyway, it is an option for you. No cost to it. Just simply wait in line. You can choose between the different flavors. It's almost always vanilla and chocolate, but sometimes they have strawberry as well. Anyway, it is a big hit with kids and parents and video vloggers from what I understand. Moving to the front of the pool deck, let's take a look at what else is on here, including some amazing views. When it comes to sail away and it's time for your ship to leave port, always head up to the pool deck. It's a great spot for that. And as I mentioned earlier, there's other chairs beyond the ones right by the pool deck. And a lot of these chairs you're seeing here are usually not very competitive, so you can always snag one there. So don't assume you need to get one right by the pool or nothing at all. There's also the jogging track on deck 12. And if you'd like to get your steps in, whether you want to walk, jog, or run, the jogging track is available for you here. And I believe it's about 4 laps or so equal a mile, give or take. It's up to you though if you want to stop on the way at the bar and get a drink. Before we get to the bar there, we're going to take a step up to one of these, I guess we'll call it a half deck up. I think technically it is deck 13, but who knows. Anyway, this is moving up to the front of the ship, and there's more reserved seating over here for you to take on. So you can grab a chair, enjoy one of the loungers, and these chairs are rarely taken up. So if you're looking for a quiet spot, but want to be out lounging in the sun and just being outside, this is a great place because most people don't even know it exists, and it's a lot quieter than the pool deck. Here we have the Sky Bar. So the Sky Bar is the upper pool bar on the pool deck, and the Sky Bar is, well, just another bar for you to go to and grab a drink and enjoy. I like the Sky Bar, honestly, for the views and the breeze. That's the nice thing about deck 12. There is more of a breeze that comes with this area, and the views are fantastic because I don't necessarily want to be in the middle of the action, but I do want to see what's happening. So there are many times I'll find myself going to the Sky Bar, grabbing a drink, including one of my favorite drinks of all time, which of course is the Lava Flow with Kraken rum. You need to specify Kraken rum, otherwise give me something else. Anyway, that is one of my favorites. But the Sky Bar is a great place on a sea day to enjoy the views, and I really enjoy coming up here just for the ambiance you get from this spot. And of course, you just turn around and get another drink. Now, there's also plenty of seating all around deck 12. Deck 12 has no shade really, so people that really want to get some sun, this is the place for you. Whereas I think deck 11 on the lower pool deck has more shade to choose from. You'll also find a large TV screen on the pool deck, and that's where you can watch some movies and things that are shown throughout the day. Let's move over to the solarium. The solarium is the adults-only area for guests 16 and above, and this is a more enclosed area, just again, for adults to enjoy. So it's the same idea as the pool deck, obviously. You have a hot tub, you have a pool in here. There's not the loud music that you're gonna find by the main pool decks. There's no live music here, but really this is more the adult vibe. Certainly kids can walk through here to get from point A to point B, but they're not allowed to go into the pool, hang out, or enjoy the hot tub or anything like that. It's really just an enclave for adults to enjoy while you're on board. Now, the solarium on Adventure of the Seas does not have a covering to it. Some Royal Caribbean ships have their solarium enclosed or partially enclosed. That is not the case with Adventure of the Seas or really the Voyager class ships. It has this open air aspect to it. The solarium bar is located in the solarium, and it's your own little pool bar for anybody that's staying in the solarium. You will find waiters walking around taking drink orders as well, but you can always go to the solarium bar and grab a drink. Speaking of drinks on board the ship, you may be able to purchase a drink package for your cruise. If you're going to drink 5 or 6 drinks a day every day, a drink package can make a lot of value sense. And in this case, whether you're ordering it from the pool bar or anywhere else you're going to see from one of the lounges and restaurants, it can be a nice thing to enjoy. You'll also find within the solarium some padded chairs. These loungers are a little nicer to enjoy, and the nice thing about them is they're a little more comfortable. A little secret about Adventure of the Seas is the Peekaboo Bridge. So if you walk out of the solarium and walk forward, you're actually going to find a little secret area that's not available on most Royal Caribbean cruise ships, and that is actually a place you can go to look into the ship's bridge. The ship's bridge is where the captain is and other officers who navigate the ship and run the ship from here, and the Peekaboo Bridge allows you to go here and see what's happening. In most cases, they're just sitting around doing their routine work, ensuring that everything is operating the way it is supposed to, but occasionally you'll see them go around and push buttons and do other things, but it's kind of a neat idea, and I love the fact that you can kind of peer into the bridge and see what's happening. So it may be something to go at least check out at least once, because on most Royal Caribbean cruise ships, you can't do this, but this is a very unique way to be able to see the ship's bridge, which is pretty interesting. Quite simply put, it's just not something you usually can see casually like this, and I like that Royal Caribbean added this option here with the Peekaboo Bridge. All right, let's head back out on the pool deck and walk towards the back. We've seen everything pretty much in the front of the pool deck, but there's still plenty going on in the back, including Johnny Rockets, which is one of the specialty restaurants on Adventure of the Seas. Johnny Rockets does have a cost to eat here. Johnny Rockets is open for lunch and dinner, and they serve up burgers and hot dogs and fries, chili fries, milkshakes. The great thing about Johnny Rockets is you pay one fee, cover charge, and you're able to get all the food off the menu. The beverages do cost extra. Yes, they are included if you have a drink package, which is nice. But Johnny Rockets is really about that 1950s style American restaurant that serves that classic food, and of course, even more importantly, the music. You're going to hear music from the 50s and 60s, doo-wop, Motown, a lot of great hits that you can hum along to, sing along to if you'd like to. In fact, at some points, the crew members in Johnny Rockets actually get up and dance for you as part of their shtick. It's like every so often, all of a sudden, bam, they go for it. There's indoor and outdoor seating, so depending on the weather, you may prefer indoor or outdoor. It's all first come, first serve, no reservations required. Usually gets pretty busy on C-Day lunches. I would say that's the most popular time. Adventure Dunes is our next stop. This is the complimentary mini golf on board. No cost to use the mini golf. It's actually on 2 decks, which is kind of unique among any Royal Caribbean cruise ship to have the mini golf course go across 2 different decks. Grab your golf balls and the golf clubs and then head out onto the links and try your challenge. Some people keep score, some people just play along, some people cheat, whatever the case may be. No judgments here. You're on vacation. Enjoy it as you see fit. And the nice thing about the mini golf course is it's pretty creative, so kind of a neat thing to do. Also, you're going to find on the sports deck the basketball court. So the basketball court is where you can go for, well, to play basketball along with other events on the court. Sometimes it'll be pickleball, volleyball, soccer, dodgeball. Depending on the time of day, there'll be different activities, but when it's not being used for those things, usually it's in, I guess, basketball mode, and there are basketballs provided. All the equipment for all these events, by the way, are included. There's no additional cost. You don't have to bring your own, although you could, I guess, if you wanted to. But the idea here is that guests can go at their leisure and enjoy the events. In fact, sometimes you'll find in the Cruise Compass or in the Royal Caribbean app listed times for different events in the sports court. Next is the rock climbing wall. The rock climbing wall is another complimentary activity, a signature Royal Caribbean activity in which you can try your hand at climbing up the rock wall. They give you all the equipment, strap you in, and then you're off to the races to try to see if you can get all the way to the top. If you do get to the top, there's a bell you can ring to indicate that you've made it, and there's different paths you can take, different tracks with different difficulty levels. And the cool thing is whether or not you go up, 5 feet or all the way to the top, it's a neat thing to try out. Then there are water slides on Adventure of the Seas. You'll find 2 different racer water slides on this ship. And the racer water slides are first come, first serve. There's no cost to them. Just simply get in line and then try your luck at it so you can come down which slide the fastest. These are enclosed tubes, so it's dark for pretty much the entire ride down. But the neat thing about it is that it's included and kids love these things. So it's a neat thing to do. My advice for the water slides is bring your bathing suits on the first day of the cruise and try it on embarkation day. Most people don't go there on the first day, but the water slides are open and the lines are significantly shorter for them on the first day of the cruise. Speaking of popular things you can do on the sports deck, you also have the Flow Rider available for you. The Flow Rider is, of course, a surf simulator, and this is a complimentary activity, although there is extra cost lessons you could purchase if you'd like to. Flow Rider offers both stand-up surfing and boogie boarding options throughout the cruise, as it looks like, and you might imagine you try your hand at stand-up surfing or just simply getting on your knees. The instructors there will give you tips and guidance as to how to essentially conquer the Flow Rider. Really, it's more akin to skateboarding than it is really stand-up surfing in the ocean, but it definitely is an acquired skill. Make sure you wear very tight bathing suits that ensure they don't go flying off when you inevitably fall. Next up is the Challengers Arcade, which is the video games on board the ship. The arcade costs extra. It's just like any arcade I'm sure you've been to on land, in which every game has a per game cost to it. You actually can purchase credits from your SeaPass card directly. You could pre-purchase credits through Royal Caribbean in the cruise planner before your cruise. I actually don't recommend this because sometimes you have leftover credits. It's really hard to actually spend them all. My advice, simply pay for the games as you go by swiping your SeaPass card. And there's skee ball, and there's racing games, and there's Guitar Hero. Again, it may depend on when you actually get on an Adventure of the Seas. But anyway, it's over here, and it's located near Adventure Ocean, which of course is the kids programming on board. Adventure Ocean is available for kids between the ages of 3 and 17 years old. Adventure Ocean is divided into 4 age groups, with each group having their own programming and rooms suitable for the age range. Aquanauts, which is the room you're seeing right here. Explorers, which is 6 to 8 years old. Voyagers, 9 to 11, and teens, 12 to 17. Now, as I mentioned, Adventure Ocean is mostly complimentary with the exception of childcare after 10 p.m. Aside from embarkation day, there are 2 types of Adventure Ocean operating hours: port days and sea days. On sea days, Adventure Ocean is typically open 9 a.m. to noon, 2 to 5, and then 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. On port days, Adventure Ocean is open for the entire duration that your ship is in port. Once the ship leaves port, it resumes the normal schedule that we just talked about for sea days. Optics is the name of the teen club on board, and the Optics Club is a little bit different. Unlike Adventure Ocean, which is more structured, the teen club is meant to be more free-flowing. Teenagers are going to have different needs and wants, and they're going to have more of a social aspect than like, hey, let's go do activities together motif. So within the teen club, there's different offerings available. And for a lot of teens, they'll go there meet other people their age, and maybe they go somewhere else on the ship, come back for some of the events. But there's lots of different events, and when they are in the teen club, it is supervised by the Adventure Ocean staff. Next up is the Windjammer. The Windjammer Marketplace. This is the name of the buffet on the ship, and more than likely you'll have one or many meals here. The Windjammer is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and is complimentary for the food available. When you walk into the Windjammer, there are hand washing stations in which you wash your hands before you go in. There's soap and hot water available for you. And then once through the hand washing area, you can go straight in and enjoy the great food. So the Windjammer is really a lot of everything. And no matter how picky of an eater you are, you will probably find something here. The Windjammer is definitely busiest on embarkation day for lunch, and then mornings, especially around 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then again for dinner, right when they open, it gets a little busy here. Lunch on sea day certainly gets busy because a lot of people want to have some food quickly, but the Windjammer serves all sorts of food, and there are different stations you can go to. Many of the stations are grab and go, and then they have custom cooking stations that create the food for you on demand. This is really nice in the morning at the omelet station, and the evenings there could be a pasta station or an Asian cooking station or a variety of other food there to keep you certainly satisfied. And the nice thing is the dinner rotation does vary quite a bit. In fact, the Windjammer dinner has a different theme throughout the cruise. Every night has a different theme in the Windjammer, which by the way is different than the theme for the main dining room, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But the nice thing is that they have like some standbys, they have some food that you'll get there all the time, and then of course a different set of food that also goes there on other days to go with. So it's a good way to kind of break up the monotony, so to speak. There are drinks that are included in the Windjammer, such as water and lemonade and flavored waters, but you can always get, just like any bar or restaurant, sodas or beers or wine by the glass, certainly. You'll also find some of the Coca-Cola Freestyle machines on board. If you have a drink package, roll of refreshment soda package, or deluxe beverage package, then you can use the machines with your soda cup. Otherwise, it's not available to you. But again, as I mentioned, you go to the bar, simply get a can of soda or whatever drink you'd like. Those do cost extra. And all the drinks that you get at the Windjammer, if you don't have a package, are charged individually. Now, there's usually a lot of seating in the Windjammer. Of course, during the busier times, it can be a bit of a challenge to get seats. But one option you could do, if it all gets worse, is to just simply take your food with you and go out to the pool deck and enjoy your food. But I have found that if you do a little bit of walking, you'll find a spot. There's seating by the back, over on the sides, and I really do enjoy the seating towards the back by the windows. You get some fabulous views while you're in the Windjammer. It really makes a nice difference there. And the cool thing about the Windjammer is obviously there's just an enormous amount of food. Plenty to keep you going, and I like the variety because I just like sometimes you feel like spaghetti, rice, and then of course a piece of meat, and maybe you want to have a sandwich on top of that. You have that choice. There's the Windjammer available to you, and you can go there for its hours. Not open 24 hours or all day, but it's pretty much open most times of the day. Giovanni's Table is nearby. Giovanni's Table is the specialty restaurant on Adventure of the Seas. It's an Italian food restaurant, and if you're familiar with other Giovanni's restaurants and other Royal Caribbean cruise ships, the Giovanni's here is the original Giovanni's menu, so it's not the Giovanni's Italian Kitchen. It's the original one, the first version of it, and you're gonna find classic Italian food served here. You're gonna have pastas and lasagnas and different salads available to you. It's a real crowd pleaser. I enjoy it, quite frankly, and I like the views here on Adventure, maybe even more than other ships that have Giovanni's Table on there. But as a specialty restaurant, you pay a cover charge in order to dine here. You can certainly use your dining package. Dining packages are nice because they may save you money overall in the grand scheme of the per night basis, but it requires you to eat at more restaurants. Next up is the Vitality Spa and Fitness Center. So this is where you can go to enjoy, well, a spa treatment, salon treatment, or go to the gym, or all three of those things, certainly. Let's begin with the Vitality Salon. This is where you can go to get your hair done, nails done. It's available to book before your cruise or once you're on board. I do recommend pre-booking before the cruise. If there's a specific day, like maybe formal night, where you want to get your hair done or just have a service done, because times are really the issue here. You can usually get in the salon at weird hours, but if it's important for you to be in on, day 2 at 6 o'clock, well, you want to make sure you get that time slot. Now, of course, there are also massages and other services available within the spa itself. There are all sorts of different treatments you can purchase for the spa. In terms of pre-purchasing versus buying on board, there isn't really an advantage to pre-purchasing these treatments in advance, other than the fact that if you're only interested in one treatment, like a 90-minute Swedish massage, and that's all you want, then pre-purchasing could save you a few dollars. But on board the ship, they'll run daily specials, and usually these are combo deals to help entice you to go in there. And again, depending on what you're looking for, they may or may not have that for you. And you can check in with the staff and take a tour of it as well. Downstairs from the salon and the spa is the fitness center. and this is where you can go to enjoy the gym while on board the ship. Access to the gym is complimentary, no cost for it to use the weight machines, the treadmills, the ellipticals, the free weights. That is all included in your cruise fare, and the gym is open most hours of the day and well into the evening, so there's plenty of time for you to get in there. You know, on every single Royal Caribbean cruise ship I've ever been on, everybody goes to the gym on like the second day, the first full morning on the cruise, and then as the cruise goes on, less and less people find the energy or desire to go into the gym, but it is there. There are also extra cost classes you can take if you're interested in spin class or maybe yoga or something like that. There are also changing rooms and showers that you can go to within the fitness center, so you can get changed before you get your fitness workout in. In addition, there are also complimentary saunas. Adventure is one of the few ships that still has a complimentary sauna and steam room. They're available in both the men's and women's changing room, so you can go in there and enjoy that as you see fit. I'm really impressed by Royal Caribbean's fitness centers. I think they do a really good job with it not being just a couple weights in the corner. I mean, it's a real gym. Let's get in the elevator and head upstairs and check out, of course, the top area of the inside of the ship, deck 14. So on the back of the ship, you can reach the Blue Moon deck, which is the Viking Crown Lounge. This is the part of the ship that overlooks the rest of the ship. And what's really cool about this spot is this is a really neat lounge to go to enjoy, well, views of the pool deck as well as some nice seating out here. What's great about this spot is it has really sweeping views of the ship and, of course, some great drinks to enjoy as well. What I like about this particular lounge, again, is the fact that it's indoors. It's nice and air conditioned, but you can always see what's around you. So no matter what the weather is doing, you've got a great vantage point. And it's a spot that not a lot of people are aware of, certainly on the beginning of the cruise. So go out here and enjoy the views. Heck, it's a great spot for sail away too, especially if it's really hot outside. Yeah, you want to be out there and in front, but it might be a little warm. In addition, the evenings, it also turns to be the DJ area. They do silent discos in here. So there's a variety of events held in the Blue Moon that you can go to and enjoy your time up there. Because what's great about some of these venues like this particular bar is it's multi-purpose. So you never know exactly what may be held there, but it's a great spot for like, hey, we just want to go sit and have a drink. This is a great spot. Also nearby is the Diamond Lounge. The Diamond Lounge is reserved for guests who are Diamond, Diamond Plus, or Pinnacle Club within Royal Caribbean's Crown and Anchor Society. This is a dedicated area that offers special services of the Diamond Concierge, as well as a 24-hour coffee machine, hors d'oeuvres in the afternoon and evenings, as well as a little breakfast spread and drink service in the evening. Now, Diamond members probably already know about the free drinks they get while on a cruise, but the nice thing about the Diamond Lounge is it is an area designated just for the top tier loyal members of the cruise line, and it's kind of nice that Royal Caribbean offers that. There's also some PCs you can use if you want to use your internet package here, maybe read your email if you don't have a device with you. And as I mentioned, a lot of people like the social aspect of the Diamond Lounge because they get to meet other cruisers who love cruising. I mean, if you're a Diamond member of Crown and Anchor Society, that means you've probably cruised a lot with the Royal Caribbean. Certainly, to get to that point, you have to have sailed on 70 nights or more, or cruised 70 points, I should say, or more. And when you get to that level, that affords you some of these nice views here in the Diamond Lounge, which is, again, a reserved spot. For me, as somebody who does enjoy Royal Caribbean, obviously, I do appreciate that Royal Caribbean rewards us with a special space. Now, if you happen to be staying in a suite, Grand Suite or higher, you have access to the Suite Lounge, which is located also nearby on deck 14. The Suite Lounge is very similar to the Diamond Lounge, but this is only for suite guests. And the Suite Lounge allows you to go in and enjoy, of course, great views, just like the Diamond Lounge has. The Suite Lounge is notably larger because there's a lot of suite guests on board, and they want to make sure they have enough space to spread out. There are also hors d'oeuvres served here in the daytime and a morning spread, and there's a coffee machine as well. And being a suite guest, you're able to use some of the complimentary alcoholic beverages in the evening as well, which is a nice benefit of staying in a suite. There's also an outdoor area to the Suite Lounge you can go to, so if the weather's permitting, you'd like to, you can go out there. And of course, the Suite Concierge themselves, which is arguably one of the best perks of staying in a suite on Adventure of the Seas, because the concierge can help you with all sorts of issues you may have. It really makes a difference in having a better cruise experience being a suite guest. You get access to it, so why not? Now, there's actually a staircase leading upstairs, and Adventure of the Seas still has a chapel on board. On other cruise ships, this has been converted to other areas, but there is a chapel. It's all self-led stuff in here. If you happen to go on a cruise ship to get married on Adventure of the Seas, this is where you would go. But to be perfectly honest with you, most people don't even know it exists. And on top of that, it's just a venue that's underutilized. Royal Caribbean doesn't hold services in here. They just sometimes will open it up for different events. Certainly, if there's a major holiday, you might have an event up there, but it's more self-led than anything else. Let's head downstairs and check out the Sapphire Dining Room. This is the main dining room on the Adventure of the Seas. So the main dining room has 3 decks, and it's open for breakfast, and dinner every day of your cruise. For lunch, it's open on sea days. The main dining room is complimentary, which means there's no cost to eat here. For dinner, which is probably where you'll end up in the main dining room, you have the choice of either My Time dining or traditional. Traditional is when you have, of course, the set time every day of the cruise. You have the same table, the same time, and the same wait staff. My Time dining allows you to have more flexibility in that you can make a reservation in advance and have a specific time, but you won't necessarily have the same table mates or even the same wait staff for your seating. In addition to that, you're also going to have the option of just simply walking up with My Time dining and seeing if there's a table available. Personally, I prefer traditional. I think it's easier, but I understand that 5 o'clock is a little too early for dinner and, of course, a little too late at 8 o'clock for dinner. Nonetheless, you'll find a themed menu every night for dinner. So that means every day of the cruise, there's a different themed menu for you to choose from. And some of the items do carry over from night to night. Like you'll probably have on a 7-night cruise, 3 or 4 nights in which there's escargot or French onion soup. But the entrees, desserts, and most of the appetizers do change from day to day, which gives you a little more variety to enjoy your meals. As I mentioned, the main dining room is also open for breakfast, which has the same menu every day for breakfast. And when it is open for lunch on sea days, they do have a different menu from the dinner menu there, which is nice. You know, overall, I like the main dining room. Not everything is amazing, but most of the food is somewhere between good and very good. And there's a couple items that are excellent and a couple items that are like, okay, I don't want to order that again. But overall, I'm very happy with the main dining room. I love the ambiance. I love getting to know my waiters. And I like the service they provide you. It really stands out when you go to the main dining room. It's one of those quintessential cruise ship experiences. And while there's a lot of attention these days on specialty dining, I'm still a big fan of the main dining room. I like it, maybe because it reminds me a lot of the old days of cruising when I first got started, but I really like it quite a bit. Next up is the Royal Promenade. The Royal Promenade is the main thoroughfare on any Royal Caribbean Voyager class cruise ship, of which Adventure of the Seas is one. And this runs from one end of the ship to the other. And think of the Royal Promenade like a shopping mall, shopping district, and Main Street all rolled into one. There's a lot of different places you can go to. We're going to show you every single one of those, including some of the events that are held on the promenade, because not only is there the opportunity to go to different shops and dine places, there's also different events happening here. It really is the heartbeat of Adventure of the Seas. You're going to find a lot to do depending on time of day and what have you. Anyway, let's get started with the tour of the Royal Promenade. And we're going to start off with everybody's favorite place, guest services. Guest services is located right in the atrium area. And if you have a problem with any issue, this is where you go to get help for it. It's like the lobby of a hotel room, if you will, right? Billing issues, any problems you have, you go here and you talk to the guest services staff and they can help you out. The shore excursion desk is located also near guest services. So if you booked a shore excursion or want to book a shore excursion, you can go here. There's also an ATM machine, and there used to be paper cruise compasses, but now it's all digital. So you can access it via your phone. Across the way is the Champagne Bar. Adventure of the Seas is one of the last Royal Caribbean cruise ships to feature the Champagne Bar, which offers, as you might imagine, champagne among other libations. You know, while on other ships, this space has been replaced by other types of bars and venues, but here it's still available and you'll be able to get a wide selection of drinks at the Champagne Bar for you to choose from. Again, if you have a drink package, most of them are included in your drink package, but you can also order drinks individually. You can sit at the bar, or you can have some of the waiters come over to you and take your drink for you. The nice thing about the bar, especially the Champagne Bar, is just it's right on the promenade. So it's good for people watching. There's a lot of energy here and very comfortable seating. There are the porthole windows as well for you to look outside, which is nice, but you know, one of the many bars you'll find on the ship. Heading down the Royal Promenade, there's even more to see and do, of course. So let's check out more of it here. And you're gonna see there's a combination of shopping and dining and bars and just things to look at, starting with the general store. The general store offers essentially a combination of everything you might need to buy on a cruise ship. Of course, there's not a huge selection, but there is just enough, starting with duty-free liquors and cigarettes. So if you're in the market for these type of items, you can purchase them on board your ship. My advice is do your research to see how much it is back at home, because just because it's duty-free, which means you're not paying taxes on it, doesn't necessarily mean it's a great deal on it. But for a lot of people, especially people sailing from overseas, they may find this an attractive offer. They also have a limited supply of health and beauty products if you'd like to get some. Again, my advice is you want to pack for your cruise in the most efficient manner possible, so you don't need to buy these things, because even though they do stock sunscreen and aloe vera and aspirin and Advil and all that, you know, it's going to cost you way more than it would be at home. So do yourself a favor and purchase it. But if you run out or you forgot it, you can get it here too. Next up is the logo and souvenir store. So this is where you go to get something with the name Royal Caribbean or Adventure of the Seas printed on it in some capacity. Essentially, this is the Royal Caribbean logo shop, and you're going to find all sorts of shirts and hats and pants and backpacks and lanyards and magnets and everything else that Royal Caribbean has dreamed up to put on its merchandise. This is where you can buy it. And the nice thing is, a lot of people like to commemorate which ship they've been on, right? They went on Adventure of the Seas, they went on Royal Caribbean, they want to share that back at home, and that's the way to do it. There's the gifts and jewelry store, which offers, you guessed it, gifts and jewelry. That's right, you'll find plenty of jewelry and watches for you to purchase. And just like the duty free, it's a really good idea to have an idea of what you're looking to purchase ahead of time and, walk around and see what they got, but be smart about what you're purchasing there. There's also shopping in the middle of the promenade. So throughout your cruise, you'll see different pop-up sales happening in the Royal Promenade, and they'll be selling various t-shirts and goodies and liquor and all sorts of things that you can obviously bring home with you. And some of it is just stuff you could have actually found within the store, or things that maybe they keep out in reserve and only bring out for certain times. But this is a big deal for a lot of people who like to do some shopping. So as you're walking through the promenade, you have that option. Then we have Izumi. Izumi is the Japanese specialty restaurant on Adventure. In fact, Adventure of the Seas is the only cruise ship that has Izumi on the Royal Promenade. And this restaurant serves up sushi and some other Japanese cuisine items. I love Izumi. I'm a big fan of sushi in general, and Izumi has always been a hit for me. So I really like the fact that, number one, they have this restaurant on this ship, but number two, the fact that it's on the promenade is kind of neat because it's great for people watching while you're eating your dinner. And you can go to Izumi and make a reservation. You can use your dining package. Everything in Izumi is priced a la carte. If you have a dining package, they give you a stipend to use per person, which is really nice. All right, moving on out. Let's see what else we've got here on the Royal Promenade, because there's plenty to do, including the perfume and cosmetics store, which serves up, yeah, you're really good at this, perfume and cosmetics, yeah. So if you're interested in these, again, you can purchase them. Again, my advice, buy them from home, but some people like to splurge a little bit. They're on vacation, and if you forget or want some more, this is where you can go to purchase some more in the perfume store here on Adventure. There's also a pass-through to the casino, down from the promenade down to Deck 4. We'll see the casino in a little bit, but this is a little shortcut to get between Deck 4 and Deck 5, which is an option there. The Duck and Dog pub is the English-style pub that you're gonna find on Adventure of the Seas. The Duck and Dog serves up plenty of beers and libations for you to enjoy. The real appeal of the Duck and Dog, if you ask me, is in the evening when the pub singer performs there. And the pub singer plays the kind of bar music you're used to hearing, certainly some country music, some classic rock, and usually sing along, make requests, and the pub singer will change from sailing to sailing. But the cool thing about this place is really the vibe and being able to sing along to songs you love, in addition to, of course, enjoying a Guinness or a Coors Light or whatever drink you're looking to do. Maybe it's Gentleman Jack and Coke, a certain preferred drink among Buffalo Bills fans, but I digress. You can find a lot of different options over here in the pub, especially in the evening. You can get really busy here because a lot of people love going here and singing along to these songs. Heck, I'm a big fan of the pub. Odds are, if I'm on Adventure of the Seas in the evening, I'm probably in the Duck and Dog because it's just my kind of place. I love the music here. It reminds me a lot of being in college, and so that's a big spot for me. Across the way are more sets of the Coca-Cola Freestyle machines. Again, you need to have a drink package in order to use those. So make sure you get it from Camille and Grant, and then go over to the Coca-Cola Freestyle machines and order whatever crazy concoction Gabby convinces you to make. Next to the Freestyle machines is Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream, which actually bookends with Cafe Promenade. We'll get to that in a second. Ben & Jerry's is an extra cost restaurant to go to, so you can get the Ben & Jerry's ice cream you love, but that does cost extra. And then, of course, you have Cafe Promenade. Cafe Promenade has a combination of complimentary and extra cost coffee. Certainly you get a black coffee, tea, that's available for you here, and it's pretty darn good. But if you want to get a macchiato, a latte, or anything else that has espresso in it, Cafe Promenade is where you can go. Cafe Promenade serves up Starbucks drinks, so you just order off the menu. It's very similar to the Starbucks menu if you're familiar with it back at home. Maybe the prices are a little bit different here, but the cool thing is you get to have those drinks on Adventure of the Seas. And man, Ben & Jerry's ice cream is so good. Every time I go on a cruise, I don't need to pay extra for ice cream, but you know what? It's Ben & Jerry's. Sometimes you're just in the mood for fish food, and they have it here on Adventure. So it does cost extra, but it's a couple dollars and a great way to splurge a little bit, especially with the kids. They want to have a nice evening snack, or in the case of my kids, they probably want something at like 11 a.m. in the morning as well. Right on the other side of it is Cafe Promenade, again, where you have some more seating. You can get pizza by the slice in the afternoon, evening, and late night, along with sandwiches and other food items. It's more of a grab-and-go spot. I actually don't mind this on port days when you're stopping in really quickly to get something to eat, be on your way. You don't want a full meal, but you want something in your stomach. So you grab a coffee, you grab a bagel or whatever they've got, and you're on your way. Certainly at night, man, the pizza is really popular. I'm not going to say it's the best pizza in the world by any stretch of the imagination, but you know what? Sometimes you just want a slice of pizza, and that's what they have here at Cafe Promenade. There are also desserts available, cookies you can choose from, so you can mix and match as you see fit. And the best part is Cafe Promenade is all included, minus the coffees I mentioned earlier. But in terms of food, All this food is included in your cruise fare, so get as many as you want, load up, and then have a seat and enjoy the food because it's really good. I did mention there's complimentary coffee available as well. There's coffee not only here at Cafe Promenade, but other places. So you can quickly grab a cup and be on your way, or sit back and watch and enjoy everybody walking by you. That's not bad either. You might notice the classic car next to Cafe Promenade, and this classic car is kind of a staple of Royal Caribbean. They started adding these cars to various ships, and it's just a showpiece, really. Something to grab your attention, take a photo in front of, and otherwise just something to look at and enjoy. There's the fashion and boutique store, which has plenty of clothing. This has more of name brand clothing you can purchase as opposed to Royal Caribbean stuff, although I think sometimes you do find Royal Caribbean stuff in here. Nonetheless, you're going to find more name brand clothing and designer handbags and jewelry that you can purchase. It's another way for you to purchase these extra items and, again, splurge a little bit, do a little bit of shopping, bring home a souvenir from the cruise. This is available for you as well while on the Royal Promenade. And at the very end of the promenade, we have the Star Lounge. The Star Lounge is a multi-purpose venue that you can go to enjoy all sorts of things that are happening. And you can find bingo in here, karaoke, trivia. There's lots of things. Before you get in there, actually, on your way in, on the right is the card room. Most people don't even know this place exists. But this is the card room on board. So if you bring a board game with you, or actually playing cards, you can go here and enjoy the space. There's no cost for this. Just walk in, use the space, be respectful of others. Great thing, obviously, is they have a lot of tables and chairs set up, so it's really conducive for games. They do have some supply of board games in here. My advice is bring your own because you never know if it's missing pieces or what games will actually be there. So do yourself a favor and bring your own board game if you'd like to, or just playing cards. It's a good spot for that. So the Imperial Lounge is located at the end of the Royal Promenade, and the Imperial Lounge is a multi-purpose venue where they'll do all sorts of activities like bingo and trivia, and even sometimes karaoke in here. It's really used for all sorts of things throughout the day and night. So if you're looking at your Royal Caribbean app and you're looking for events, the Imperial Lounge is where you can go. There is a bar in here, plenty of seating, and as you can see, a lot of activity. So it changes throughout the day, and it's that great multi-purpose space. It's not as big as the theater, but certainly big enough to be able to house some of the more popular events that happen in here. So look in your cruise compass or the app again to see what's happening in the Imperial Lounge, and maybe enjoy a nice event. Actually, I like the trivia quite a bit. Let's get down to deck 4. The promenade was on deck 5. We're gonna go down one deck to deck 4 and check out some of the venues on here because there's a lot to do also on deck 4. Well, it's not as sweeping as the promenade, it still follows the same basic path. Starting with the Schooner Bar. This is a classic Royal Caribbean venue. The Schooner Bar is a nautical themed bar, and during the daytime, it's just that. It's a nautical themed bar that has different events. Odds are your trivia events will be in the Schooner Bar, and then at night, it really comes alive because they have a piano in here, and the piano player comes in and plays, just like the pub, songs you know the words to. It's this piano music, and it's a lot of Billy Joel and Elton John and John Legend, and really everything else in between. I mean, they really just play everything on the piano there. And what's cool about it is a lot of people love having drinks here in the evening, singing along to those songs. There are TVs behind the bar, but I think most people that come to the Schooner Bar are interested in just basically checking out the Schooner Bar player and really that live music. It's busy enough in the daytime, but at night it can get really busy. Then there's Chops Grill right across from the Schooner Bar on deck 4. Chops Grill is the signature steakhouse where you can enjoy a lot of different cuts of steak on board. They have also other foods like lobster, and they have chicken, and they have lamb, but really it's all about the red meat over here because you've got plenty of different cuts of steak from filet mignon and New York strip and a couple others as well. And it's a real crowd pleaser. There's a cover charge to eat at Chops Grill, so you pay one fee and you have your food included here. And if you have a dining package, it also works at Chops Grill. Again, if you're really into steak, this is the place to go to enjoy a steak on board the ship. Then you have the Casino Royale, which is of course the casino on board Adventure of the Seas. And the casino is, of course, a place to try your luck, as you might imagine. Yes, it does cost extra. And you need to bring cash for this. You can't get cash from Royal Caribbean, but there can be a fee. Anyway, my advice, bring your own cash, but there's plenty of slot machines. There's also roulette, there's blackjack, there's craps. There can be some other games like different kinds of pokers and whatnot. And it gets very busy in the casino, believe it or not, especially in the evening hours. Man, it seems like everybody's going down there to try their luck. There's a casino bar in the middle. If you'd like to just try your luck with drinks, you could do that, or maybe nurse away some of your losses. But the Casino Royale is available for you, and it gets very popular with people who want to gamble while on their cruise. As you pass through the casino, you get to Boleros, which is the Latin-themed bar on Adventure. And Boleros is also a staple of many Royal Caribbean cruise ships because, number one, it has space to dance. It has that live music element, which really brings this space to life When you go there in the evening, you're going to find different bands performing, and inevitably, probably a band that's playing salsa or merengue music. It really gets people up and going. And of course, they have a great selection of tropical drinks to enjoy as well. So Boleros is very popular because I think they serve some great drinks and that live musical element. It's something that really separates Royal Caribbean from so many other cruise lines, because at the end of the day, the live music is what really brings people in. People love that aspect to it. It's not just DJ music recorded, it's that live music. If you go outside on deck 4, you'll find the promenade deck that wraps around the ship. It actually goes all the way around 360 degrees, which is really nice, and allows you to get a view of what's happening. You can do your laps in, not so much for running, but just for simply walking casually. There are chairs. There's also a smoking section if you're interested in smoking. But what I love about the promenade deck is the fact that it's that classic deck with the shuffleboard and lots of seating, so you can just sit out there, enjoy the breeze, watch the ocean go by. Certainly if you're in port, it's a great area for this because you can see what's happening around you. And it's a lot less crowded and busy and it's quieter than almost every other part of the outdoor part of the ship. If you walk all the way forward, you get to one of my other favorite secrets of Adventure of the Seas, and that is the helipad. So the helipad, as you might imagine, is a functional spot for helicopters to land in case of an emergency. But since that's very, very rare, it's more often used as a great vantage point at the front. And you can go here anytime as long as it's, of course, not being used by a helicopter. There are chairs to go here too, and it's a great spot for sail away. People ask me, where's the best place to go for sail away on adventure? It's right here on the helipad. There isn't shade and there's no bar service, but the views cannot be beat. I love going to the helipad when your ship sails into a port or sails out of it, or both. It's great. Let's head down to deck 3 now and check out what's over there. We're getting to the bottom of the ship. Man, time flies when you go walk through Adventure of the Seas. First, we have the art gallery on board and a combination photo gallery. So there's also photos and art you can purchase on board your cruise. As you might imagine, the art is, well, art gallery that you can do an auction and try to bid on, basically. During your cruise, there'll be an art auction. You can preview some of the art. It's shown here. It's an event that's offered. It does cost extra. I never go to the art auction personally, but you know, some people enjoy that, I guess. I'm not sure. The photo gallery offers you the place to look at all those photos you took during the cruise. On board the ship, there's an opportunity to take photos during your cruise. There's no obligation or cost to sit there and take your photos, but later on, you can go and look at those photos and then purchase them. You can purchase individual prints. You can do a digital download. You can buy a package, add-ons, photo books. It's all available for you, but it's up to you. We like taking these family photos on board the ship because in many cases, you're dressed up for dinner and then you go here and get some great family photos that you can use for your Christmas cards or just family memories in general. And so it's a nice option for you. Don't have to purchase them, but we do like doing it once in a while. Studio B is one of the other theaters on Adventure of the Seas. Studio B is where you can find ice skating. And first of all, there is actually free skate. You will need to bring closed-toed shoes, socks, and long pants in order to participate in the ice skating. Look in the app for when those hours are. And in addition to that, Royal Caribbean puts on ice skating shows. Now, you gotta be thinking, ice skating shows? Really, Matt? Am I really gonna go to that? In reality, it is way better than you might think because these are really talented folks that put on a show that has a loose story. It's fun. There's music you probably know the words to. They really do a good job of making it far more interesting. Then we have the Lyric main theater. So we already had the Studio B, and now we have the main theater, which is where you can go for different events. Now there'll probably be production shows in here, magicians, comedy shows. These are all performed in the Lyric Theater, where you can go, and it's complimentary, just like Studio B, by the way. And when you're over here, you'll find a variety of different events, lots of seating, and every night is really when the theater is used. It can be used in the daytime as well. But in the evening, you'll find production shows and featured headliners. And of course, you'll also have drink service if you need it. They can bring you a drink while you're there. But for a lot of people, this is a big part of the cruise experience, you know, spending the day by the pool, going to dinner, and then going to see a show as well. And it's included. The fact that entertainment is included in your cruise fare is really impressive. And it's pretty good shows as well. Certainly worth seeing. And it will change every night of your cruise. So it's not just the same show every night. They mix it up. There's late night, there's things for the family. So I really like that you get a lot of variety when it comes to what's in the Lyric Theater. So check it out. And again, most of the shows are pretty short anyway, so it's not like you're committing to like a 2-hour performance or anything like that. So what's neat about this, again, is it's all sorts of different sorts of performances, and it really appeals to a lot of people. And I like the fact that it's included in your cruise fare. And also, you're going to find the conference center down below on the lower deck. And honestly, if you're not part of a group, there's probably no reason you'll ever go to the conference center, but I wanted to show it to you because it does exist down here. But sometimes groups will go on an adventure and they'll have different meetings and whatnot, and this is where they would go for that. You're also going to find the Loyalty Ambassador desk down there. So if you want to meet the Loyalty Ambassador, it's over by the conference room. Heading back upstairs in the elevator, of course, there are elevators both in the midship and forward area. We've got some little landing spots, like here's Royal Caribbean Online, which is like an internet cafe, I guess. My advice is don't rely on these at all. Bring your own device. Heck, your phone is going to work a heck of a lot better and easier than one of these. But if you were in a pinch and you needed to print something, right? You go to the internet cafe. If you have an internet package, then you can just simply sign into your package, use the computers over here. There is no free internet or free Wi-Fi for you to use other than, of course, the Royal Caribbean app. So if you need to, print out boarding passes or check your work email, you could do that here in Internet Cafe. There's also a library on Adventure of the Seas. Library is really more of a reading room than a formal library. I mean, there are some books that you can borrow. They're few and far between, and who knows what the subject matter is. But the bottom line is, if you're looking for somewhere to read that's quiet, this is a good spot for it. Just like the card room earlier, that's for playing cards, the library is really meant for reading. I feel like back in the day, they had a lot more books here, but I think most people are coming on a cruise. They already bring their own books, but you could peruse what they have in the library. Maybe you'll find something interesting for you to read. Just make sure you bring it back before the end of the sailing. Then we also have Next Cruise Desk. Next Cruise is where you can go to book another Royal Caribbean cruise. Essentially, Royal Caribbean will give you extra onboard credit and reduced deposit if you book a cruise while on board the ship. My advice is this: if you're on board the ship and you're thinking to yourself, boy, wouldn't it be great to book another cruise? Go to Next Cruise and do it. But if you're watching this video at home and you have days or weeks leading up to your cruise, you're actually better off booking it now and locking in the rate, because if you waited to go on board the ship to book it at Next Cruise, the price could go up, negating any benefits you would get from waiting to book it on board the ship and getting that onboard credit or whatnot. So there is an advantage to booking on board, but again, it's not quite slam dunk that I would wait for it. I still think you're better off booking in advance, and then when you get on board the ship, if you have an idea to book another cruise, hey, go for it and make an appointment at Next Cruise. And of course, somewhere around the ship is going to be one of your staterooms. There's many different types of cabins on board a Royal Caribbean cruise ship. Here we have a look at a couple of different kinds, including a balcony room, and there's interior, ocean view, balcony, and suites. And depending on the price and the size of your group and your budget, there's a lot of different options for you to consider. Some cabins can accommodate just 2 people, some are meant for 4, and there's even a few cabins that can accommodate up to 6 people. The nice thing about the cabins is they all have a core set of amenities. You have your own room, your own bed, bathroom, closet, room attendant that comes and services your room at least once a day. If you're staying in a suite, they service it twice a day. And when it comes to picking a cabin, there isn't a bad choice. It's more of what makes more sense for you and your family, and of course your budget, right? Because me and my family would love to stay in a suite every single time, but that's not always in the cards, especially at the price. So it's a matter of square footage and natural views, or natural light, I should say, versus your budget and what you're willing to pay for all those things. The rooms on Adventure of the Seas, in terms of motif, it's gonna look a lot like a hotel room. I think in general, most rooms are smaller than you would expect if you've never been on a cruise ship before, especially compared to hotel rooms, but they're certainly serviceable and they're certainly good enough for the duration of your cruise. As an example, we're gonna show you an inside room here, and this is about as small as the cabin gets for any room on Adventure. And you know what? There's just enough space to go in here, sleep, shower, change, relax for a little bit and be on your way. You can make the argument, there's so much to do on the ship. You just saw so much of it. You're gonna be out and about, and all you're really gonna come here is to shower and change. So why spend a lot of money in your cabin? Conversely, you might say to yourself, well, I'm gonna buy a nice cabin and then I'll spend more time there. That's also fair. At any rate, whichever one you choose, there isn't a bad choice, but this is a good way to look at what you can kind of expect and give you an idea of what the rooms look like, what the bathrooms look like. And by the way, the bathrooms between an inside, an ocean view, and a balcony all pretty much look exactly the same. It's really the suites where you start getting much more space and different looking bathrooms, but you all get the same shower and sink and toilet area. It's really just how much living space you have within the cabin, and of course, natural light, right? A window, what have you. So there you have it, a look at Adventure of the Seas. Adventure offers a lot of different itineraries, and they're always moving Adventure around. The nice thing about Adventure is the value. It's one of those cruise vessels that you won't feel out of place on because of all the extra space and fun things to do. Voyager class ships in general are destination experiences, which makes it a good choice for a first-time cruiser. And these days, among the many new ships that get all the attention, Adventure is really a great value out there. I like it quite a bit. Hopefully this ship tour helped you out, gives you an idea of what to expect when you go on board the ship eventually. Let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite thing about Adventure of the Seas, and when are you going on adventure? Looking forward to reading those comments in the comments below. While you're down below our video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. That way, you
to let us know we have a brand new video to share. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.